This entire team has been lifted tonight by Odell Beckham. This is sick. Put this to music.
Hey, you there, bud?
What's going on?
Red League Podcast, welcome in. Today is June 11th. We're joined by Damian, General Manager of the Benchwarmers, and Jason, General Manager of Jason's Jackrabbits. Or just the Jackrabbits, my apologies. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. How about you? Pretty happy to be back on here. It's been a while.
Last time
Getting
you were on here, you're giving us the
yeah,
Kelsey dance.
you never know. One could pop out today. You never know.
Jay, it's been
Um,
a bit since your last appearance as well. What's new?
not too much. I personally don't want to see Dame break out that dance move tonight. Just no.
I'll
Yeah.
I think that's good and buried.
I'll just save it for opening night against the Ravens.
Okay, well, we've got a couple things to talk about. You two have been, part of a couple off-season trades here, and you started us off this off-season with the old three-team bomb, first day of the trade window opening, where you kind of swapped keepers around a little bit. Dame, you traded away your first-round pick and James Cook to get Travis Etienne and a seventh rounder. Jason, you traded away, looks like Etienne and a 10th round pick to get a first rounder and a fourth rounder. Dame, let's start with you. What was the motive behind this trade? You had this guy James Cook, who's now a part of Andy's love life, and now you have Etienne. That's a happy situation, but you're down a big pick there.
So yes, I did give up a little bit of draft capital there. There's going to be a loaded first round, which it did came in thought when I was making the deal. Like, do you do it or not? James Cook did lead the league, fourth in the league or something in rushing or somewhere around there. So I could have easily just rode with him and went into the season. I hate the guy, but I will say the Bills losing Stephon Diggs, it's concerning. They still do have Josh Allen. I won't say it very often, but the guy's elite. They got a rookie wide receiver coming in. Is he going to be good? Is he not? Maybe. No one knows. And then they have like Shakir, not bad. I don't think the wide receiver one. So I don't think their offense is as good as last year, being said. And James Cook just didn't score touchdowns last year. So that was part of the concern. So then when you get a chance to get an ETN or a Josh Jacobs, I see yards and touchdowns. In a standard league, that's something that you try to look at. I still think it's a running back league. You still need the wide receivers, which we currently don't have, but I think you can also build on them late in the draft as it's a deeper position to fill. So that was kind of going through there where I do find ETN Jacobs, I give them the edge over James Cook.
For sure.
So that's kind of like my thought process
Okay.
through that, where you kind of give up a early first round pick, but you upgrade your running back who could score a lot more touchdowns than James Cook, and that should equal out later on.
Yeah. I definitely see it. If you look at it as though you're giving up James Cook plus this guy, that's two good players for Etienne or Jacobs. But Jay, let's go to you. You trade away Josh Jacobs or Travis Etienne. Etienne was your first round pick last year. Was Jacobs your keeper going into last year? Is that correct?
Yeah, he was.
And then you have parted ways with appears to be Etienne, but either way, both of them for the meantime. And in return, you received a first round pick. Were you hoping this was going to be a lottery pick? Were you hoping this was going to be top 3 pick? You end up getting picks 7 and 8. after the lottery shakes out. So how do you feel about the deal?
Um, Dame, you might want to plug your ears a little bit. I'm not very high on Travis Etienne to repeat what he did last year. I think the team is a little bit questionable. Their division got better. They folded pretty hard down the stretch. I think there were I don't know, I don't know. Jaguars watching them was kind of tough. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't necessarily looking to move him, but if I was getting good value, I was open to it. Yeah, maybe the pick could have been a little higher, but I think I'm perfectly fine with the outcome.
Mm-hmm. So you get the extra first rounder and a fourth rounder. Um, Dane, what are you leaning right now between Etienne and Jacobs? Those are the two options that,
On
you could,
honestly,
you know.
they're both kind of making the case. I am leaning a little more Jacobs right now. That could actually change
Okay.
by come August. I look at a few things. Jacobs just got paid. If you're Green Bay, they got a better O line than Jacksonville. But you look at Jacobs just got paid. If you're Green Bay, you don't pay a guy that kind of money and not use him. We all know that fat fuck AJ Dillon sucks. So you're gonna use Jacobs. Now on the ETN side, you look at it, that's a guy that's gonna have to ball out this year to try to get paid. Because if I can think at the top, I don't think he's been paid yet.
No,
Yeah, so he's gonna have to have a big year to
they picked
try
up
to.
his fifth-year option, I think.
I think so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's still gonna want to ball out this year and get that money and reset the running back market. Age isn't really in consideration for me right now because I think Jacobs is like a year older than ETN, or it's close. They're close in age, so age isn't really thought about right now. But who knows? The decision could come down later in the year, leading up to the deadline. But last little bit, probably 2-3 weeks, I've been leaning a little more Jacobs over ETN.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah, you've got a decision to make there. Let's talk about the guy you traded away, James Cook, the newest addition to my franchise, joining Devon Achane and CeeDee Lamb. I thought James Cook was real good last year down the stretch to end the year. He was pretty good all year. I mean, he had 1,600 yards last year. Going into this offseason, he was going to be a target of mine until you traded him away first day possible. And then I didn't think I was going to be able to get him because Inferno was also high on this guy too. What do you think is a realistic stat line this year for James Cook? Last year he was 1,600 yards total, all-purpose yards, and 6 total touchdowns. That put him at running back 11 in the Rad League. What line do you see for him this year? Let's start with you, Jay, and then we'll go back to Dame.
Tricky situation there, right? Because obviously Josh Allen owns the goal line, but they switched OCs midway through last year, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And they started running the ball with a little bit more intent, and their receiving game got spread around. So it was just, I don't know, like a more complete offense. So I don't know, like that makes me think James Cook actually could be good to own for fantasy this year. But again, right, it's just, if you're wrong, you got like, he's basically DeAndre Swift last year in Philly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which isn't terrible, but I mean, that's not what you're hoping for, I don't think, when you traded for him. Either one of you, for that matter.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping for better. I mean, I gave up a second and fourth round pick. Hanging on to the first was definitely still big. I think he would have been, picked well above where my second round pick was, which was 205. So I kind of look at it, I'll pay that fourth to move up there and grab him where I probably would have seen him going, later half of the first round, I would say. Something like that. But Dame, give us your stat line for James Cook this season. yards and touchdowns.
Alrighty, all I know is week one I play this bitch. I'm gonna stuff him at the goal line all game. Like that guy's not running a yard on me. So given that he's gonna have a bad week one, he's probably gonna go like week one. I don't even know who he plays. So this is gonna be a good he's gonna touch the ball probably 15, 16 times. 30 yards I'll give him. He's going nowhere on my D. But a realistic stat line for him, probably I'd say maybe a little less yards because the Bills, they kind of spread the ball a little bit. They might run a different type of offense. I'd say 1,400 yards is probably fair. Total yards between rushing and receiving, and
Yeah.
touchdowns. It's probably because I just for some reason I just think the Bills aren't going to be as good as last year. I'll give them 7 touchdowns. You never know. Could be more. They're hard to really judge right now. Like the Jets should be better if Rodgers is back and healthy. The Dolphins are still a threat. So like the Bills may lose a few extra games and they're not guaranteed to win their division. But these are just like stat lines going through my head and don't really
Fair
like
enough.
the Bills. But I think like 1,400 yards between rushing and receiving is pretty fair.
Yeah. I would agree. I'd say if we can get 1,408, I think I'd be happy with that. I'd be very happy, actually. That'd be
And that's pretty good after
yeah.
me stuffing them week one.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've had a couple more trades in the Rod League. Obviously, you two and the Inferno started it off with the 3-team deal, and then I got James Cook, and then Puka was traded. And then there's been 3 straight Numbies only. 3 straight number only, draft pick only trades. Inferno being a part of all of them. 2 of them involved him, getting a second round pick or improving the second round pick. And then the most recent one with the Jackrabbits. Jason, you traded away pick 108. So your second of your first round picks and a 4th rounder to get his second and 3rd round pick. This has been met with some curiosity and some wondering by the league, by myself. So I just want to hear from you. What's up with this? You moved down from 1st round to 2nd, and the only payment you received was going from 4 to 3.
Huh. It's kind of funny, the curiosity surrounding this. It's fucking hilarious. Put it simply, there's a draft strategy. There was some consideration into what the plan is going to be. I don't discount the upgrade from 403 to 304. I think that the difference is, I'd say, more of an impact than
that jump you made there was you jumped up more picks than he did to go from 206 to 108. But
I think also what it comes down to is I did not like the gap from 203 to 308 by any capacity. Just I thought there were a lot of good players there. And yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like something that made sense. Now, mind you, I think part of the criticism for the deal was because the devil was involved. And of course, the devil in this league wears orange. I think he has the ability to juggle like that. For me, it works out because I have extra picks. But I say anybody who's rattled about this, don't hate the player, hate the game, and maybe the teams who lined up to give Inferno their lunch money before my deal, because there were a couple. Let's just call that what it is.
So now you have 1 keeper, 1 1st round pick. And then you have still 1 second but 2 third-rounders, right?
2 seconds, two
Two.
thirds. Yeah, it's funny. Our rosters are the
Right.
same size after the second round.
Who?
Yours and mine.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
both up. Yeah. And
We'll all
then
have the normal
and then I still,
amount of players because it's just like James Cook would be my second rounder there.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're caught up.
So you've got one keeper. Who are we leaning? You've got a couple options. I mean, you don't have a running back option anymore. So it will be a pass catcher. It will be, Sam Laporta, the breakout rookie tight end, Mike Evans, Old Faithful. I think you had DJ Moore at the end of the year. Where's your head at?
I think
The people
there's a
want
lot of
to know who the Radley keepers
the
are.
people want to know. I think more specifically, ALL needs to know what to do with 106. Needs the peace of mind. I respect that. That decision won't be revealed until it absolutely has to be. So I hope you're prepared to suffer a little this summer on that. But yeah, the reality
I
is
got plenty of options I like at 106.
that's good to hear. I think I think I'm gonna ride out the preseason and see what happens before making a decision. But there is more than one option in play for sure. Sam Laporta is who we ride for. I think everybody knows that now. But Mike Evans was on another level last year and has been for a long time. So, I haven't been very long term with my keepers the last few years. Right. We're just trying to give our team the best chance to win.
Okay. Dame, you've got no
Yep.
first round pick. You've got Travis Kelce plus one of these running backs. Are you automatically going wide receiver in round 2 because of that?
A lot of people may think. Me, I'm open to the best player available. You can start 2 running backs. You can start
You have to start
3. You have to start two running backs, 3 wide receivers. Got my tight end, and there's no guarantee I'm going wide receiver at 204. I think I'm going to have options either way I decide to go,
Last
and I'll
year,
be
I believe you waited a bit on receiver too, right? Like who was your wide receiver one leaving the draft last year?
leaving the draft last year. It was Calvin Ridley because I had first rounder. Who the fuck did I draft again first? Oh, J.K. Dobbins. That's right.
Yeah.
and I got like a quarter and a half out of him. And then I had 2 seconds, and I went Calvin Ridley and DK Metcalf. So I had 2 wide receivers there. I think I'm going to have options either way I decide to go. So
Where'd you take James Cook? Did you take him in the 3rd round or 4th?
I took him in the 4th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you never know. You got to do the best option. Like I said, we start a lot of players in this league.
Yeah.
And you can't just jump the gun at the one position. And then you got to kind of spread it around, make the roster as deep as we can. So a lot's going to tell too late in the first is going to be a big pivot point to decide if I'm going to go running back or wide receiver or a different position. You never know.
What I've noticed over the last couple of years with your drafts, you seem to have a mid-round running back that you take that seems like a reach, or you select him early, and then he turns out to be a stud. James Cook last year, you take him in the 4th round, he ends up running back 11. Obviously, that turned out great. I remember the previous year you took Tony Pollard, maybe round 4 as well.
I can't remember that one. That one might have been a bit
3,
later.
or it might have been later.
It might have been a bit later because he was still
He
behind
turned out to
Zeke
be a
at the
stud.
time.
He turned out to be your keeper.
Yeah. And then that didn't work out last year. Like he was supposed to have a monster year. Like he had all the touches.
Do you have another running back this year? Do you have another mid-round running back that you just know is going to fucking break out and be, an elite RB2 for your team?
I'd like to say yes. There is some guys I'm watching. Um, I haven't done too many mocks yet, but I am like looking at some guys and seeing where their ADP are and what their average of being drafted is. So, and it could all change come draft time and a couple injuries somewhere that can bump a guy up. And so I'd like to say I have some good RB2s in mind, and they might be a good third, fourth round pick. And hopefully it all works out. Like that's the gamble of fantasy football. It all looks nice, and then something happens, and it's either a boom or a bust.
Damian Pierce, round 2.
Right? Yeah. AJ Dillon, 110, right?
Yeah, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but funny enough, last year Damian Pierce, we come away with the title. AJ Dillon, we did not win that year. I think that was a poor year. I think that was following our first championship. But Jay, the first round rumor mill is obviously something that's going around quite often during the summer months of the Rad League. And right now, the rumor mill has maybe a quarterback being looked at in Jack Rabbit's camp. Is there any truth to that?
I think all options are on the table. But I mean, hey, like that sounds like a good idea, a good suggestion. I'll add that to the list.
And is it Lamar Jackson?
No, that's your third round pick. That's 306 all.
Would I take Lamar third round again this year? Maybe. You never know.
I don't think you could say no.
Will someone else take him before then? We'll see if the league's got a little bit of a hate on for Lamar. I think he's just because he's my guy. I think that's why. But we'll see. All right. Both of you, what is your prediction? Who's going to be in the Rad League final this year? Which 2 teams? And who's going to be the champion? You know the keepers. I'm not going to spell it all out. You know the keepers.
All right. I think
you know what's going on in this league.
I'm gonna drink my own Kool-Aid right now. I'm gonna say year 10 is the year the Jackrabbits make the Rat Bowl. It's happening. This is the year. It's got to be, fielded the best team to never make the playoffs. But that's got to be a sign. We got to win at least a fucking round this year at the very least. But I'm saying the Jackrabbits gets at the Rat. Who's it against? Fuck, I think Mike's due. I'll drink my own Kool-Aid, but I think regardless of what happens, I think Mike is 100% going back to the dance this year.
Dame?
You can't come on here and not hype up your own team. This is going to be the year we fucking break the curse, and it's either that or we're going to lose another final, and we'd be the first team to lose 4. We'll just find
3. Have you been to 3?
Yeah, I've been to 3. I lost Andy, Mike, and then Zach. So I'm either going to be the first team to lose 4, or I'm going to break the fucking curse like the Chicago Cubs did, the 100-year curse. Who it's against, it's a very tough decision. With all the picks that Hall has, he's an easy candidate. But CMC just got named on the Madden cover, so you know he's going to curse. He's going to curse a little bit. I feel like EMG is due a little bit. He won the last year, 8 teams in the league. and then he missed the playoffs 4 or 5 years. Then he got his feet wet a bit last year, got back in. He just
Came up
made a big
against
off-season move.
the Raid D
Yeah,
on one.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't count him out. Can't count anyone out right now, I guess. But EMG, I just have a feeling he's got something dialed up.
EMG led by Kyron Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Puka Nacua. You know, just like Tommy.
I have another
Bob said,
prediction.
He needs Stafford to take him to the bowl. You have another prediction?
Yeah, I gotta throw this in there. Sorry, I couldn't sit on it any longer. This is the year the Tinker Soldiers bullshit luck catches up to them. They are going to miss the playoffs and be the bottom feeders that they have been for the last couple of years, minus the block. Book it now. Tink is done.
Clip that. Tinker Soldiers led by the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that guy. I don't know if he's a real NFL player. I don't know. I wouldn't want to have my faith in the 40-year-old guy who's like hanging out with like fucking politicians and shit.
Yeah, it's a little fucked up.
I just don't want to rely my Sundays on Jets football.
Also true.
That's torture.
Like they do have, like, Brees Hall would be fun to watch. So like I get Zach watching, and Garrett Wilson, he's talented as well. I won't knock him, but just the Jets, like, the fuck it. But you never know. Could all change.
He seems to be saying that Derrick Henry will go off the board 101. Henry and Jonathan Taylor, those are two good running backs.
Hey, I don't want to. Oh, sorry. I don't want to add any like extra shit to the pot, but I just want to say the Ravens and running backs, health wise, they don't have such a good history. I just want to be the one to say that out loud because I know Tink's thinking about it, but I think we just got to put that out in the universe for more informed decision making. But I hope not, because Derrick Henry's a stud. But I just want to say that is a thing.
Dame, do you believe Henry's going off the board 101?
I think so, and I'll be honest. Hey, I drafted Henry at the right time. I got like 3 years out of him. If Henry does go 101, Henry and Taylor were my 2020 running backs. So like, and I know you owned them both at one point too.
I did in 2021. I drafted Taylor first round and then got Henry during the 2022 season, and then kept Henry into 2023.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a smart move in a way. People will say he's aging and he's getting older. Yeah, he is, but that Baltimore running attack it's dangerous. You get in the goal line. You want to keep Lamar healthy as well, so you don't always want him running in the goal line. Like, he gets in, but you don't want your quarterback getting hit all the time when you got that monster in the backfield. They're going to be in the red zone a lot, score a lot of points. They got a good defense. They'll be up a lot in games. They'll be running the ball. I understand why you'd go off the board 101. I think if I were in that position, I think I'd go that way as well. But a lot can change.
So does Marvin Harrison go on to haunt Tink's dreams as all the wide receivers of the past? Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, CD Lamb.
I think so. I think if that's the choice he made, like I think he's too invested in Garrett Wilson. But hey, like if that's the guy you're going to ride for, sure, you got to be an Aaron Rodgers fan and talk politics with him. That's fucking lame. But
What kind
I
of
mean,
politics do you think that guy's into? Like, is he into like what kind of stuff's he into? Is he into like, economic sanctions, or is this guy about like, like the death penalty and like abortion laws? Just sick things, Like that guy's got to be twisted in the head, you know what I mean?
he's very much into um yeah, he's very much into weird shit. He's like, no, it's got to be as natural as possible. No artificial involvement, no tampering, like, no vaccine. He's got to do the whole herbal. I don't even know what the hell that is. Didn't do surgery for his Achilles.
Yes, he
Just
did.
did he?
Yeah. Didn't
Oh,
magically heal.
or no, so well, whatever. He was trying to come back in December. He was somebody he said
Yeah,
it
yeah,
won't,
yeah.
right? Just that's some hippie shit. That's all. It's just weird. But I got a question about 102. Does Marv go there? Did EMG not think Marv was available? Did EMG not want Marv? That's one burning question I have, because I mean Puka, he went double ram, which I mean,
That's a
you
little
know,
bold.
right, but that's what I'm saying. Like Marvin Harrison, he's supposed to be the next big thing. Did EMG just find something we all don't know, or did he potentially fuck it?
I mean, he is a Rams fan. The Rams are a good-ish team. Stafford's a good QB who makes, the offensive players good. But, that's two of your top three core pieces reliant on an older man playing the quarterback position to stay healthy. Obviously, injuries happen to anyone, any age, but they're going to happen to an age group more often. It's going to be that higher one. I don't know. I don't know if he knew Marvin Harrison wasn't going to be available, or if he just preferred Puka to him. Does Inferno take Marvin Harrison 102? If he still has the pick, I think he does. I think he does do it.
And he's got a free 7 for it too.
Yeah, because I think he's looking at McCaffrey having, 2 years left of this dominance, and he's going, I want at least one of my keepers to be, a dynasty prodigy, top 5 ranked guy. So he might try to start that train. You don't always need both your keepers to be young, but as long as one of them's young and one of them's ready to go now, it's not too bad.
Just as long as one of them's not dating Taylor Swift.
And that's what makes football fun. I know a lot of people don't like her, but hey, she's brought a lot of fans to football. My wife hated football like a year ago. Now she watches the Chiefs every Sunday,
What do
and
we
it
get
just makes
more of this year? A, Taylor Swift appearances at Chief games. So how many Chief games will she attend versus touchdowns scored by Travis Kelce?
ooh, that's a good question. As the Travis Kelce owner, and I'm fucking keeping him if anybody didn't think that was going to happen. The guy came out and said he wants the workload. He's ready. He'll be tight end one again. And last year he got banged up and missed week one. And the Chiefs, I don't think dealt with that the greatest either. They sat him week one, brought him back week two, and he probably should have sat 2 or 3 weeks to get fully healthy. And they just played him all year. So that injury never really went away. He's getting older, so he's probably only got a couple years left. But this Chiefs team, Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback, what not to love? Guy's going to be quarterback one this year. Well, I'll be voting for him in the survey. uh, I think the Kelce touchdowns. I think the
Okay.
Kelce touchdowns you have to bank on. You think on a healthy year he's scoring 8 to 10. I don't know if she's going to go to all the away games. She might. I know when the Chiefs are in Buffalo, she's playing in Toronto the night before. She's going to go to that game. Only reason I know this is the wife was trying to get tickets
Sure.
with Toronto.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it's the Kelce touchdowns. And we'll start dancing to Taylor Swift on Sundays and have a fun time.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up on this edition of the Rad League podcast. It is June 11th. We are about 80 days away from the Rad League that will be happening on site all weekend long, Labor Day weekend. I'm sure we'll have another episode leading into the draft, and we'll get plenty of content at the draft. Maybe a couple live shows, some post
Some drunk videos.
Perhaps we don't disclose any substances used. But this should be a good Rad League. Thank you both for coming on, and looking forward to having you on again.
Thanks for
Thanks
having
again
me.
for having us.
Yeah, it's always a good time on here, and we'll be looking forward to the next time.
Draft tomorrow.
Go bench warmers.
Go.